Education as a requirement has forced it to be the saving grace of our nation. It is a soil in which the seeds of youth are sown with the hope that success may be reaped on the path to adulthood. But there's no one definition of success, and there's no one way for schools to provide this for their students. Schools are more than classrooms. They're complex ecosystems where relationships are built between people who would otherwise be strangers, and where kids are exposed to a world far beyond what their home life could offer. I sit and wonder about the value people get from these 13 years that are required of us, how these experiences can shape us as students of the life and the world around us. Why is this the path expected of us to develop our own definition of success? I wanted to understand the value of these sentiments we hold from our experiences in school, from the people who lived it themselves. School starts with the classes. Not every student will walk away from each subject as an expert, and they won't find themselves using what they learn every day. But in this broad, difficult curriculum, students find their interests and gain knowledge that they carry for the rest of their lives.
It was a creative writing class. And the more I think about it, looking back at that time, it kind of gave us the freedom to express. Now, some of the stories, because some of the projects, we would get together, 3 or 4 of us together, and we'd come up with these really kind of off the wall stories, but it kind of gave us that ability to express ourselves.
Nothing about AP Psych was boring to me, and I think that kind of like helped fund the classes that I like in college.
And my performing arts teacher gave, her name was Mrs. Gallardo, and she gave me, she enhanced my love for the stage. I never knew I loved the stage because I was such a shy kid. So yeah, she just taught me how to work a stage and what it was to, what blocking was and what projecting your voice was about, and how to pronounce your words clearly and just how to deliver things, and from a performer's perspective.
My first AP class that I ever took was AP World, my sophomore year of high school, and it just like really challenged me to like dig deep and work as hard as I could to get the grade that I wanted. And then it was really fruitful in the end because, you know, I had put in so much work, and it taught me that if I work as hard as I know I'm capable of, I can get the results that I want.
So auto is super cool because we had a tool room, and I mean, I just never been exposed. Like, they were really letting you work with like power tools and like things that you could hurt yourself with, and we obviously got educated on it and stuff. But it was the first sense of like, man, this got this like it was like an air powered like just wrench or something that just really strong, and like it was pretty cool to just use and work on cars with.
The foundation of a school's ecosystem are the adults who lead and guide students. Whether it's the teachers, administrators, coaches, or custodians, each is in a position to make an impact on the student that changes the way they view themselves and the world around them.
My geography teacher is so funny. He just wrote on my Facebook wall for my birthday. He's so nice. Geography wasn't like, I wasn't the best at it, but he made teaching fun, and we all looked forward to that class, and you just like wanted to do well. And then we would always, like, me and like a couple friends would hang out in the class after class and like go bug him like during lunchtime because he was just a fun teacher.
I was a 7th grader, and my teacher, Mr. Myers, he was my math teacher, and it was the advanced math class. He one day said, let me know if you need anything, and I was so embarrassed to ask because my dad, my family, we were so respectful. I know my dad would have been so upset if I was to ever ask for $1 to anyone. And so I said no. I said, oh, I'm fine, right? And then he saw that we did a fundraiser and to get some money so I could travel and compete. And he gave me a $100 check, and I was able to buy some boxing shoes.
AP Environmental Science, Mr. Thompson, he gave us the liberty of like picking an article or some kind of subject matter that was just interesting. You want to like share with the class. It could be anything, it could literally be anything, as long as it's related to like environmental science or some kind of global aspect of that. Kind of just impromptu, nothing formal, and it wasn't like he graded you very hard on it either. It was more so to just get comfortable with like speaking to people.
Miss Tadish was my English teacher, and she really just amplified my thirst for words and for language and stuff like that, man, and gave me a book that changed my life. It was The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, because my name's Santiago, and she thought it was a play on words because the main character. So she gave that book to me, probably not knowing it would change my life, and but definitely changed the trajectory of my whole path, you know what I mean?
There were some teachers, individuals, particularly coaches, that took an interest in me. Now that I reflect back, there was a teacher when I came from Texas over here in the 6th grade, Mrs. Barsalou, that kind of in her own way put her arms around me, now that I think about it, that kind of guided me through trials and tribulations, particularly of us still learning the English language as a second language.
The teachers are not there just to teach you. They care. They care about you as a person, not just as a student. It just makes you see that out there are people who care, who care, that do their job, but give you more.
Ms. Puchigian, she was my 2nd and 5th grade teacher, and she just kind of met you where you were. Didn't have oh, I'm the teacher, you're the student kind of mentality. She was, again, just really relatable and was kind of there as almost like a friend.
Spending 8 hours a day at school requires campuses to support all aspects of care and development for students. They need to be hubs filled with resources and programs to meet the basic needs of students and provide them opportunities for their own growth and enjoyment.
AR points was a big one. You read a bunch of books, you get these points, and then they have little rewards and toys and just knickknacks. And I used to love getting those, but sometimes I would read I obviously had interest in books, right, and certain subject matters, but there's a scale to it. So this thick book is gonna get you this many more points. So it kind of pushed me to I'm not really that interested in this, but I really want to get these points.
I loved assemblies because it was always the last hour of the day, on Fridays, and it would be a day that we were playing one of our biggest rivals in high school. Oh my gosh, it was so fun.
I loved sports. It kept me interested. And then I was good at it. And at that time, really, I didn't see the value of the scholarship. I was there playing basketball. I was having a great old time. But yet I was still on path to kind of finalizing the chapter that my father had started with us.
I just even remember at a young age, there was this program called GATE, and it was an accelerated learning program. So, having those teachers who really care about you and they want to see you grow and they push you to be in those accelerated programs, or even that the schools give you those kind of programs.
As a kid, for a few years, I was part of the migrant program in school. And what that does is they give you a backpack, a case with a bunch of pencils and pens, and I thought the lead pencils was the coolest thing. I always felt so. I felt so excited every time we we'll get things like that, because again, we didn't have much, so we were blessed with anything. Anything was the best thing.
They did bring in bilingual education. And for us, there are second language learners. That gave us an opportunity for us to be able to at least internalize or to speak in our own language, in our first language. With this new opportunity of bilingual education, that as we did our work, we all of a sudden started to feel as part of the society, the system. And the more we did, the more we accomplished. Pretty soon, we were successful.
Yeah, it was definitely an escape for me, man. It was one of the only places where we get consistent meals and, and just consistent education, and just that, the stuff that I wasn't getting at home, I would definitely get at school, you know what I mean?
Kids don't come to school with equal circumstances or opportunities. Some of the most important lessons students will ever learn in school are from the exposure to a world beyond the reality that they were born into.
Because we also have to remember that we too, having two hands, became also a financial resource in helping the household. And so he said, you know what, if you're not going to be out in the fields helping me, I will give you that opportunity to continue your education, but just promise me that you are going to continue that. So for me, education again has paved the way for a successful future, not just for me, but also as a parent.
I'm forgetting who my second grade teacher was, but in the back corner of it, she had, it's like a mini library for the classroom. That's where I read my first marine biology book, because I remember that clear as day, and just skimming through the pages and whatever. And it just had something for everybody.
Reading is imagining, And I think that's why those books and stuff are there, just to inspire thinking and thinking new ways and putting yourself into somebody's shoes, because if you're not exposed to that kind of stuff, like the only thing you're going to know is the things you tell yourself or the things that you just see that you believe to be true. But if you're not exposed to material like that, how are you supposed to understand other people?
The library at McLean High School, that place right there is where it's just like my brain exploded, you know what I mean? It was just like, oh my gosh, that was the first place I got this book. I don't even know if they were aware of how ill the literature they had in there, like, but I got this book from Eldridge Cleaver, who was like a Black Panther, like a radical Black Panther. And I read that my freshman year and just blew my brains, man. And read the autobiography of Malcolm X at that school, and just a bunch of just things that just really helped shape my perspective, you know what I mean? And just things that really just set my pen on fire.
Fresno is such a diverse place, and I was able to be exposed to so many like different cultures, religions, like, and you're in class with these people and you're working with them, and it's just like this big diverse community that I was so appreciative for.
I was the teacher's aide, I believe that was what the position was called, and this was like 8th grade year for the special needs kids, and that was cool because my mom works with special needs kids. She's like a bus driver, and but that was the first time, and I'd seen my mom and like, you know, whatever in that environment, but like that was my first time really ever interacting with special needs kids, so like that was a super unique opportunity.
There's a lot of kids that don't ever experience even out of town with their families for whatever reason, you know, poverty or whatever it is, or just, you know, parents don't have the time because they work. But there's a lot of kids that you know, don't even move from Cutler Rossi area to Visalia or to really anywhere. It's just home, you know, to uncle's house right there in the same town, just to tia's house, grandma's house, or whatever it is, you know. Me growing up, school offered all of that. We had field trips, overnight field trips, you know. It was so much fun.
This teacher took us to just these really ill caves with like crystals and stuff like that. It was just like the most amazing camping trip I've ever been on. And it was my first time in the woods and like in nature and stuff like that. Because I was so accustomed to just the city life, you know what I mean? I never really experienced anything like that beautiful, like in person, like in nature. I'm used to graffiti and and broken beer bottles and stuff like that. And yeah, that was one trip that really, you know, widened my lens as well. You know, just seeing the beauty of nature. You know, I guess that's why like all of my albums are kind of themed, like Earth themed. There's like Boy Meets World, the ecology, and mana. It's like all. I never really thought of it, but that's probably what inspired all those things.
Very humble beginnings, I think, for all of us. There was no jealousy. There was no nothing that we craved, because no one had more than the other. You know, we just had enough to go by. So school gave us, you know, gave us the opportunity to travel sometimes, get out of, you know, leave out of town, play sports, you know, compete with other teams.
I used to long jump, triple jump, and then I did the 440 relay. And I remember when the very first year, I think I was a sophomore going over there, just getting off the bus and seeing the all-weather track. It's like, what is this? Hey, where's the dirt? You know, kind of just stunned.
At the end of the day, kids needed fun to exercise their energy and their curiosity. The times in school when you remember having a good laugh and a smile on your face are the memories that we hold the closest.
It was called Pizza Mr. Peterson, and he got like this big bucket around him, and we got to like throw all different like pizza toppings at him, and like tomato sauce and cheese and all that different stuff. So he was just like really goofy. He did the morning announcements every single day. Yeah, just those like little memories that you really remember. He just like loved what he did, and you could definitely tell.
My biggest thrill is I could see the clock ticking away, getting close to recess. I used to like the ham and cheese sandwiches with French fries. So to me, that was great. Now somebody else might look at you and go, "What the hell are you talking about?" To me, that was the event of the day.
As a kid, school was was always exciting because of the friends, because of the social part. Finding time to meet friends, meet new kids and stuff like that.
The talent show and stuff, so you had the opportunity to go up there and, show some of your talent or whatever. I never did, but it was fun just watching, seeing all the different things that the different students wanted to show,
Spirit Weeks, of course. Oh my gosh, Spirit Weeks, and like dressing up with everybody, and Twin Day, and just all those different themes. I remember that was really fun.
The dances. I know that, after you go play a game, and back in the day, we used to have like games, and then we would have dances after those games. And a lot of times for me, it wasn't so much the dancing, it was just being around my friends and being able to talk and kind of laugh at kids dancing. And that was part of the reason I didn't dance, because I didn't want somebody up in the stands doing the same thing to me.
Someone was in a relationship and they were trying to end it. And so when you're a kid, you don't want to like be, it's like, hey, my friend thinks you're cute. And so like it's a word of mouth type thing. So like one of my friends was gonna do it for another friend to like end it. Like we're all game planning this on a piece of paper, and Mr. Pickin found us. He's like, what are you guys up to? Like he just saw us. It was like just the four of us, but we were just huddled around this thing, like trying to think the best way to do it. And then he saw it, and I mean, obviously, like emotions and feelings could get hurt, and like young kids shouldn't even be like in relationships like that. So like he nipped it in the butt, but was like just laughing and made it like, he didn't reprimand us, but showed us the right way, and then not to hurt people's feelings, be considerate, but was also just laughing at the fact that we had this whole plan laid out. And
I always knew that education was important. At first, I thought it was the grades and the curriculum, but through my own experiences, I realized it's really what you walk away from with the people that you're around. I wanted to understand these sentiments and these stories because these are the people that are going through the system of education in itself. It's important that all these stories are heard because we need to know what to promote. In promoting these things, we're able to develop worldviews and perspectives to help connect and unify people to develop a shared future. Education is important for all these things because of everything that people come into the world lacking. You need these experiences, you need these programs, you need these mentors to be able to shape and grow and develop as a human. I think back a lot to my own experiences in education, the people I've met, the things I've learned, the experiences I had, the knowledge I've gained. And in understanding those things, I realized that all those subjects are just languages of how people view the world. Understanding those languages and gaining more of them just helps you to communicate better, to better relate to people. When you do that, you're able to develop your own vision of success and able to find your own spot in the world. If education is going to be our saving grace, understanding these stories is how we're going to make it better.